You're not getting in my car, wait.
I just gave you $200 to wait for 3 minutes.
You're not getting in my car, no way.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not getting in your cab. Oh! Al-Qaeda! Al-Qaeda!
Welcome to the Perfect Movie Podcast. My name is Jason Statham.
And my name is Jason Statham.
And today, we're covering my favorite film, Crank.
It's a good fucking movie.
It's a film where I play a tough guy who's got some enemies.
Much like my other films where I play tough guys. There's a lot of enemies.
Like my film, Safe, where I keep a little Asian girl safe from Chinese gangsters.
Like my film Beekeeper, where I keep bees and keep old ladies safe from crypto bros.
Well, actually, she killed herself, but then I killed a bunch of crypto bros. It was the mom from The Cosby Show.
It was the one from The Cosby Show.
My Jason Statham's fluctuating between Jason Statham and Batman.
Alfred, the Batmobile, sir, Master Wayne.
Oi, governor.
Oi, this is a stereotype, mate. We don't say oi, governor no more.
The film Crank is about an Englishman that also lives in Los Angeles.
His name is Chev Chelios.
And he's played by me, Jason Statham.
I have to let you guys know that I'm Jason Statham after I say everything, just so you know.
So one day, I woke up. It was quite a trip. Because some Mexican gangsters have filled me up with that Chinese shit.
This is why we're building a wall.
To keep the Chinese out. And my heart was racing so bloody bad, I had to do anything I could to keep my adrenaline up to survive.
And that means driving fast, having sex, cocaine, hell yeah,
Starting fights. And jumping out of helicopters.
helicopters.
That's right, governor. Because it's me, Jason Statham. Star of the film Crank, which is the film we're discussing in the film podcast right now.
It should be said that this is Manly March. And today, we're talking about a manly fucking movie, which is Crank. Starring me.
A movie where most of the women exist to be topless and be looked at.
And be in love with me.
And to be in love with me.
Because I'm Jason Statham.
Jason Statham, a.k.a. Jeff Chelios. That's hiding from Mexican gangsters because I didn't kill a Japanese gangster.
Actually, it was Chinese.
Yeah. It's all the same to me. Jason Statham.
Crank.
Crank.
The movie Crank.
We're talking about Crank,
Sorry,
guys.
Jason Statham kind of took over there.
Whoa, that was.
Two Jason Stathams?
I
didn't
wonder
know he had a
if
brother.
our 4 listeners all shut the podcast off.
Probably we went way too long with that.
Well, our Jason Statham's so good.
Yours is way better than mine.
Are you sure? I don't think it is.
Jason Statham.
I think yours is better.
I'm in Fast and the Furious 12.
I mean, Transporter. in Transporter 2.
I'm in Expendables.
I'm in the film Snatch, filmed by Guy Ritchie.
I'm also in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
I also used to be a Tommy Hilfiger model.
He is sexy.
Jason Statham in the film Crank. So Crank is our film for Manly March, and it is about a man
Named Chev Chelios.
that gets injected with Chinese drugs. The whole time they just call it
That Chinese shit.
Can we just appreciate his name for a second?
Chev Chelios.
It's pretty great.
That is great. There's a famous hockey player that I think was known a lot for his fighting ability named Eric Chelios, and I wonder if that is the inspiration behind the last name Chelios. It's a film where a man is drugged, and the only way to stay alive with this drug in his system is to keep his adrenaline very high and keep his heart moving. If his adrenaline slows down, then he will die. And that thus propulses us through this insane movie.
First of all, great fucking plot, right? That's a great idea.
It's $1 million idea.
Wait, it's almost like they took this idea from another movie. What? DOA, the movie nobody's ever seen before from the 1960s, 50s, whenever the fuck?
I read that IMDb trivia too.
Whoa.
Jason
Anyways.
Statham says it's a completely original idea.
Regardless. Great idea. Great fucking idea. The execution? Well, well, we tried.
I gotta say, I actually do enjoy the directors, Brian Taylor and Mark Neveldine. Now, their films, this is the filmography of Brian Taylor in particular. I think one or two of these he did without
Mark Neveldine, one of my favorite collaborators. I did it with the film Crank and also Crank 2 High Voltage. Me, Jason Statham.
So these are the films of Brian Taylor.
Crank.
Ghost Rider.
Played by me, Jason Statham.
Spirit of Vengeance, so Ghost Rider 2.
Nicholas
Nick Cage. Crank 2 High Voltage. The film Mom and Dad with Nick Cage, which is a movie that I hold dear to my heart, which is a kind of horror comedy about a signal that is like being broadcast that suddenly like wires every parent to murder specifically their child.
Oh.
So there's a great scene at like the middle school where like there's just a bunch of parents like stampeding over the walls to try to specifically murder their child. There's
Okay.
Nick Cage coming home to murder his children with his wife, and then later his wife's parents show up to murder them.
That's great.
It's a lot of fun, and it has this same very digital, very just like the style is up to 10
Yeah.
type of movie, and that's what these directors have. They also did the film Gamer and the new Hellboy, the Hellboy Crooked Man 2024 release.
Really, I haven't seen that.
I have not seen it.
That's actually one of the best Hellboy comics that run.
Well,
I wanted to watch that
That
sometime.
Hellboy movie looks like it was made for about $6.50 and is sitting at a 2.4 on Letterboxd.
That's unfortunate.
So I imagine it's not great, but also I rated this film a 2.5 on Letterboxd, but I gave it a little heart sign because it's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie.
So this movie,
Just like Jason Statham's whole career.
pretty much, I like the Transporter movies a lot too. But this movie scratches an itch for me. Michael, if you know this, but I love early 2000s schlock shit. Nice. I love the early 2000s. I don't really care what movie I'm watching from the early 2000s. I love them.
Not another teen movie.
I love that movie is fucking hilarious.
Put it on.
I'm sorry. I love romance comedies from that time. 50 First Dates,
Rom-coms.
one of my favorites ever.
That's what most humans call them.
Yes. Luckily, I'm Jason Statham. I'm not a real fucking human. I'm not a real person. There's a whole thing with the early 2000s where there's like a genre for everything. There's a guy stuck in phone booth movie, guy that has to stop a speeding train movie.
Yep.
There's guy that has something on his heart and he can't stop fucking moving movie.
Guy that everything's watching a movie, Eagle Eye, starring Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Guy where he watches his neighbor murder people movie, also Shia LaBeouf. Disturbia?
Oh, Disturbia.
We should do Disturbia sometime. That's a good fucking movie. I watched that recently. Anyways, I love the early 2000s. It holds a special place in my heart. It was a time when I was a child and I was getting into films back then.
Interesting. The times of your youth you hold close to your heart, Caleb.
I know it's controversial and it's a very brave thing to say. What can I say? I love nostalgia. No, but early 2000s, it's just so fun, man. The films back then just had a vibe to them that is not now. I'm talking about shaky camera. I'm talking about the like the fucking effects that they would put in the title cards and the screens. Like
One more time? Those.
The fucking like the flashes of like they
No.
loved logos back then. They loved the fucking putting flair into their films. Everything looked shitty.
Yes.
Grainy film effects on everything.
Yes.
It was such a time, and it holds dear to my heart. And so watching this was a treat, I must say.
Crank, a film starring me, Jason Statham, is a real GTA side mission vibe. This feels like a GTA mission where you take a drug and you took too much of it and now you're gonna OD unless you keep your wanted rating at least 3 stars or something.
Yeah.
Like this could definitely translate into, and that is also a very like mid 2000s was all
It's a video game.
GTA San Andreas era
Yeah.
ideas. And yeah, by the end of this movie, it really fully embraces, apparently, because there is a Crank 2, it really embraces the absurdity. Like, it's cranking up the absurdity the whole film.
Whoa!
Would you say that it's time to get into the performance test?
Yeah, it's been 15 minutes.
Have we not started the performance test yet?
No.
This is where we're going to talk about our favorite actor scenes, characters, and moments.
It was the performance of a lifetime!
The Mexican Gangsters, I've only seen Mexican Gangsters this heightened as, like, in Training Day,
Yeah.
where there's an Indian man playing a Mexican gangster. This film, I mean, that's the first thing we get is Jason Statham wakes up, and then he has, like, this tutorial video, which is another just very video gamey way to get...
Yeah.
And just a real shortcut. This film is not smartly written, but it's written with one thing in mind, which is like, what's the next cool thing we can do?
Yeah.
What's the next concept we want to get to? And it's willing to cut corners on the way there, but it's part of the charm. I think the thing I want to get across about this movie is there could be a more polished version of this movie. There could be a movie where the effects are sanded off and made to look a little better, and the script is a little smarter.
If this was made today, it would be a much more coherent film because it would be aping off of John Wick, Nobody, different things like that. It's definitely like that type of genre.
But all the rough edges are like what brings the charm.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
I think it is the absolutely absurd, very dated style.
It really reminds me of, and I don't think you've ever seen this, but it's called The Punisher Warzone. It came out in like 2011, I think. And that movie is so fucking ridiculous and stupid and awful. It's played by the guy.
Does that film star my good friend John Bernthal?
No, that's the Netflix series. It stars, hold on.
Is it Thomas Jane?
The guy just died. Thomas Jane is the 2004 one. I love that film too, even though it's terrible. This guy just died. He was in. He was the Sith Lord from Ahsoka. Ray Stevenson, the wrestler.
Oh, I was like, who from what? I blocked all of that from my memory. I was like, there was who and what? I watched that. I did watch Ahsoka.
You did watch Ahsoka.
I just imagined a young man, so I was picturing the shirtless guy.
R.I.P. Ray Stevenson. This is going off tangent, like we do all the time. But yeah, it just reminded me of that, just the ridiculousness of it. But you can't help but to like it, just because it has, like, they went for it, and I can't be mad at them for doing that. You know, it might look terrible, yes, but there's enough likability to it, and I like Jason Statham as an actor. So it's convincing for me.
Yeah, it's just perfectly tuned. It's like Jason Statham is the right guy for this part, and this film is written in such a way. I think it has a lot of same DNA with like a Desperado.
Yes,
even it's
absolutely.
a film that embraces the absurdity and like the cinematic tricks it can do to make this as absurd and heightened as we want it to make.
Yes.
and on a budget.
Yeah. So
'Cause
you
I
cut
think-
corners.
I think this film is about a $12 million budget, which isn't a lot.
So low.
But it really just embraces just getting around LA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is one of those, we're on a budget, we're already in LA.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is where it's going to be set.
It should be said this movie put Jason Statham on the map. And so he went on to make many more films just like this.
I'm going to shout out a couple of our cameos, and I'm going to shout them out as Jason Statham.
So it was a real privilege for me to work with future Darth Maul voice actor Sam Witwer, in one of our final scenes as one of the goons that takes me up an elevator.
Did you recognize him?
Yes. I
Sam
did.
Witwer, the
Yeah.
Darth Maul actor? And
Yeah.
then
It was also quite an honor to work with It's Always Sunny star Glenn Howerton as the doctor I robbed for medicine.
Yes. Also, it was a pleasure to work with Jose Pablo Cantillo. He was in a season of The Walking Dead with the governor. Oi, governor. You remember that season, right? You watched that, right? Yeah, he was Martinez
Hollywood never changed.
in The Walking Dead.
It was also a privilege to work with Efren Ramirez. You may know him from the film Napoleon Dynamite as my transdressing best friend.
And also, it was a pleasure to work with the Chester Bennington, R.I.P. He was a pharmacy stoner in my hit film Crank.
It was also a privilege to work with Reno Wilson, who's apparently in all the Transformers films, and I thought for 30 seconds was 50 Cent.
Reno Wilson does kind of look like 50 Cent. I mean, they all do. But
Right, Governor.
he was also in a hit Netflix show that came out recently with a bunch of women who robbed a convenience store. I don't know, my fiance watched that show and I saw him in it. Not my fiance, but the host of the podcast fiance. Of course.
Jason Statham.
Amy Smart plays my girlfriend. Wife?
Wife? Never. Never once.
Never that. Girlfriend only.
Amy Smart, you might recognize from the film Starship Troopers or Starsky and Hutch.
Shoot.
She likes to be in films that start with the word star. She's also in a film called Strangeland, which if you rearrange those first 4 letters, you can make the word store.
Okay. It's good to know. I also work with Dwight Yoakam.
Me and Amy Smart fucked in Chinatown.
You did. We did. I mean, I did. I did. And it was right in front of everybody. And I think I went on to in the second movie because I remember vividly of me doing this at a packed stadium.
It's quite a memory. Let me just think about it for a second.
I think it was Crank 2. All these movies kind of meld together at the end of the day.
So you were mentioning how this is a real 2000s film, 2000s time capsule, and I think one of the most 2000s hallmarkers of this film is at some point to distract from himself, Jason Statham finds a man of brownish color and punches him in the stomach and yells, "Al-Qaeda!" and runs away.
Oh, this is post 9/11?
I believe so.
Oh, shit. I wasn't in America for that.
If I had been, it wouldn't have happened.
I would have been on the fucking plane.
Have you know Mark Wahlberg unironically has said if I was on one of those planes.
I'm sure he did. He also went on to make a failed restaurant chain called Wahlburgers. And I want to say right now, Wahlburgers was trash. I had it once. Do better, Mark.
And that includes all his brothers, like Donnie.
And his dad. Fucking piece of
Shit. Okay, so in the finale, Kalen, I want to shout out this one part of the scene. Actually, I'll do it in It's an Art Bro, so all that will get cut.
Hold on 1 second. Sam Witwer. He was Star Killer
Yeah.
from the
Force
Unleashed
Unleashed
games. Yeah.
Yeah, Sam Witwer.
Sam Witwer is quite a privileged to see where he's going.
Oh, we also forgot no Guglielmi. He plays a cholo in every movie he's in. He was also in Training Day.
Oi, governor.
Was he Smiley? Was he the guy that said,
Yeah, man. I get my shit pushed in.
He was this guy that was just sitting there, kind of like egging him on.
yeah.
He was. He also plays a cholo in Bruce Almighty.
I was going to say, I feel like he's in like an Adam Sandler movie.
He was in a Bruce Almighty movie.
Bruce Almighty.
He was the guy that the monkey came out his butt.
Haven't seen it.
You've never seen Bruce Almighty?
I don't think
That's
so.
another great early 2000s
Is that
movie.
the Jim Carrey one?
Yeah.
Because there's the sequel with Steve Carell, right?
Yeah.
And that one's not as good?
That's Evan Almighty. That's not as good.
Not
He's
as
like
good?
Noah or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I respect Steve Carell in that film Foxcatcher. He was being real serious with Channing Tatum.
He was real serious, and didn't he have prosthetics on his face?
He
And
probably did, and so did Channing Tatum, and even maybe Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo.
Ruffalo?
Mark Burn.
Bird! Batman?
Imagine a film with Jason Statham and Tom Hardy.
I'm sure that's a thing.
Dude, that's a film you would call Crank. Because, like, how much, like, you know...
How much cocaine do I have to sniff to understand these guys?
How much London energy.
Pinky Blinders.
We're talking about the film Crank, which is a film where Jason Statham runs around and does stuff. I think I just want to get across that it's a fun time and it's a good time, and we can move along to the next segment unless you have something else to call
No,
out.
it's an art.
This is where we talk about aspects of the filmmaking process, like sets, effects, lighting.
It was the performance of a lifetime.
So back to what I was saying about early 2000s movies. This movie looks like shit. It looks terrible.
My first note in the It's an Art section is ugliest movie ever.
Yeah. It's like got that disgusting film grain thing that every early 2000s movie had.
Not film grain, it's digital.
It's digital film grain.
It's early digital.
Yeah,
And
but it's
not
got
s-
that grainy look to it.
Yeah, it's not doctored up. Like, people shoot digital now, and they can doctor it up, and it looks like
No.
a film.
Yeah. Now, I mean, that movie, it's like the film grain that you get in video games where you can go into the settings and you can turn off
Yeah.
film grain. Yeah.
This is like, this film often looks like a skate video
Yes.
because it's just handheld digital cameras.
It almost looks just as bad as 28 Days Later.
It does have the same vibe, but the difference is 28 Days Later is doing a classy thing with it.
Yeah.
And this film is like, it embraces looking like a fucking skate video.
Yeah.
Like, it embraces being able to make all those decisions where things seem like really just like street level and ground. down
Yeah,
and-
it's definitely the point. It's a stylistic choice. It doesn't take away from the fact that it looks like absolute dog shit. We mentioned off screen some effects that were absolutely god awful when he.
I want to say it's truly they never did any like true CG effects. So any effect shot is like them doing like Photoshop warp effects on
Yeah.
stuff. And there's a couple effects that like when a car crashes and it like flips over in a mall and it rides itself up the escalator, and the gravity and warping of everything that happens, or when he gets in a fight at that like biker bar or whatever
Yes.
with all the black guys, they cut to the outside and the whole building kind of warps in and out.
Yeah.
Like a total Looney Tunes effect. And that's in like the first 20 minutes, which is when you should know that Crank is a film that lives in a Looney Tunes universe.
Yes, it's definitely a heightened reality, and that's okay.
I think there's some shared DNA even with like Raising Arizona, another film that we've covered. It is so fucking Looney Tunes. I mean, when you get to the end and then after the end you discover there's a sequel, we are certified in a Looney Tunes universe
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of the ending, it really kind of blows all the budget. I think a lot of this is very street level, ground level. It's a lot of Jason Statham in cars, Jason Statham in dirty apartments, and like not blowing a lot of budget.
Yeah.
And then they're finally like, we're going to rent a helicopter and fly it all around the LA skyline and dangle Jason Statham
Yeah.
or some Jason
Yeah.
Statham lookalike actor out of the window. And it's like, this is where all the money went. And it is, I think, especially with the digital photography, it does have that feeling of like, oh, Jesus, we're hanging out of a helicopter right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
you know?
I would be surprised to hear that he didn't do his own stunts.
I have no idea, but I'm just saying it looks as dangerous as you expect. Like,
Right.
you could watch like a James Bond movie, and it'll be like a wide shot from the ground where you'll
Yeah.
see him dangling up there, and you're like, oh, that looks scary. But this is
They went full Mission Impossible.
they're in the cockpit, and you like see him 4 feet away, hanging out the window, and there's
Yeah.
no other way than to think, Jesus Christ, this man's hanging out of a helicopter.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it is the best part, and even the effects, which look like shit when they're falling, I think it's so smart. Like I actually love the ending of this movie. I'm like, how the hell do you wrap up this movie that is just this crescendo of everything getting wilder and wilder?
Yeah.
And I actually, I was shocked that I was like, oh yeah, you guys figured out exactly how to end this
Yeah,
movie,
yeah.
and it was perfect.
I appreciate this movie from the fact that I feel like it inspired a lot going forward.
Sure.
Especially with just like the insanity of action. I'm thinking about the Raid films, and then what the Raid did for like John Wick, and just how like increasingly as the movies keep going, it increasingly gets more insane. Like I'm talking like the kills, the set pieces, different things like that. It was definitely one of like the godfathers of that type of film. Just a high octane action.
Where did I go wrong?
Did you fucking just say something?
It's like talking to the wall.
Mum?
I'm amazed you remember you have a mother.
Please. I haven't got time for this.
You got no time, period.
Orlando?
You a persistent motherfucker, Chef Chelios. I give you that. They pop you and you just keep getting up.
I'm the Terminator.
You was that maybe, but there's a new gun in town.
No, I don't get it. Why you just cut me up alive when you had the chance?
Too easy, motherfucker. Look at you. Bipolar, sadomasochistic tendencies.
Adrenaline junkie, addicted to violence. Carving up a guy like that while he screams in his own blood and excrement would be like a gift. Warrior's death. Hell, you'd probably get off on it.
So I think it's really funny in the finale. So there's sort of a standoff where Jason Statham's been captured by our baddie. It's like the baddie and his father, and they are holding him hostage. And then Jason Statham does this thing where he stands up and he holds his finger like a gun and aims it at him. And it's hilarious because they're all reacting to him like, oh, what's up with this guy? And then he like pulls the trigger on his finger gun and shoots a guy in the head. And then it cuts behind him and there's just a whole row of gangsters. So like logically, all those men had to walk up there or something. So it doesn't actually make any sense, but it's one of those cinematic tricks where it's like, yeah, they're all back there. Let's go.
Yeah. And they had to know the right time when Statham puts up his finger to shoot.
Yeah.
That's great.
And that precedes just 3 straight minutes of dudes and muzzle flashes and like everybody just standing there shooting guns Pilato at each other from like 5 feet apart.
Yeah.
And then somehow that ends with Jason Statham dangling off a helicopter.
Yeah.
And he punches the baddie and yanks both of them off the helicopter. And then we get really bad like CG falling out of a helicopter, but they were smart because they hired 2 bald men to be their main villains.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the ending where he makes the phone call to his girlfriend and he gets the voicemail message.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, you guys figured out how to pull just a little bit of emotion out of this really stupid movie.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, that is a perfect way to end this.
Hey, this is Eve. I'm glad you called, but I'm not here. Can you leave a message? Oh, unless you're trying to sell something, because I'm not interested. But if you're not, then just... oh, wait. Time's up.
Hey, doll. Looks like I'll lay you down again. Seems like all my life I've just been going. I wish I'd taken more time to stop and smell the roses, so to speak. Well, I guess it's too late for that now. You're the greatest, baby.
You know what I think is like a better version of this film, even though it's not the same plot by any means? Extraction 2. I'm talking about like video game. They did video game action, right?
Yeah. I mean, that is another film that's definitely a wall-to-wall just fight extravaganza.
Yeah.
For sure.
But that's what I feel like Crank would look like if it was made today. That's why I would love to see like a Crank remake. I don't know. Because you could do such crazy stuff now. And you can make it, I don't know.
But being able to do more make it better? Because I feel like that's what the Expendables did. And it was never actually better.
No, but that Expendables was an excuse to get all these like action stars together and do something.
It was a privilege for me to work in the Expendables 4 with my great friend 50 Cent and my great friend Megan Fox.
50 Cent, not the other guy from Crank.
Not the guy from Crank, named Orlando.
Orlando Wilson.
Shout out to Google Maps for being part of most of the transitions between scenes in this movie, because it'll just zoom out and then zoom into a Google Maps location of the next area of LA we're visiting.
I do want to say shout out to the trailer for this movie, because I vividly remember the trailer for this movie when I was a kid. And it stuck with me because I remember he shot some guy on a balcony and the guy fell right in front of his girlfriend. I don't know why that image stuck with me for so long, but I just always like associate that. Whenever I think of Crank, I think of that scene. And it's because of that trailer. Early 2000s trailers were the shit.
Shout out to the soundtrack, which I think is another element that feels like a skate video. It's a lot of just thrash and metal and music that insists.
Yeah.
It insists, Kalen.
It insists upon itself.
That this is rad as hell. And it is.
It is.
It is. Should we ask our question, hey, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, not our final question.
Not our final question. It's a different question.
Take it away whenever you're ready.
All right, let me just get that last measurement on your
Thank you. You know, I need this for the wedding.
Okay, well,
I need it really quickly. Like
it could take about a week to do.
It could take a week.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you trying to say? He's trying to say that I'm so big, my bum is so big, you need to order to various countries far away to get enough material to make a pair of pants so I can fit my incredibly obese buttocks into a pair of your specially made little suit.
No, I mean I'm the only one working here this week.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that would be great.
Trying to say take as much fucking cocaine as you want, drive as fast as you want, have sex as much as you want, shoot as much as you want, and be Jason Statham. That's me.
Don't get the Chinese shit in your blood, mate.
You talk about the COVID vaccine, mate.
All right.
Wait, the COVID vaccine is
I
not
just mean about
Chinese.
COVID.
just
COVID.
Yeah, mate, yeah.
From the wet markets of Wuhan.
Is it enough to be rad as hell? Is that all a movie can be? Is that enough to make a great movie?
We ask this question a lot. And I always go back to Scott Pilgrim. Because Scott Pilgrim is one of those movies where it takes excess and it takes style and it does it nearly perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look at that movie as like, this is the one. And if I can watch a film that meets that standard, I know that they did the right thing. This movie did not. So it didn't do the right thing. But I also think there's like a charm to it, like we were talking about earlier, where it just like, and also too how you were saying that it wraps up nicely, and not a lot of films like this can do that. And so from that aspect, I'm like, they did try, you know.
I really do think that the finale helps a lot, because a lot of these movies I think would fumble the bag on the finale or find, like, of course they're going to kill the bad guy, you know, like, you know that's going to happen, but how they choose to wrap it up and how they choose to, like, end the story for Jason Statham, who at the end of this film, spoilers, is just falls to his death, maybe, question mark. Apparently there's a sequel, so he doesn't actually fall to his death from the helicopter, and then on his way down, he calls his girlfriend and leaves a voicemail and listens to her voicemail message, and it's just like, oh, the only little thing we might have cared about in this movie has been brought back at this final moment.
Yeah.
And I guess that's nice. Good for
Chev Chelios.
you know?
And it wraps up the story.
Right.
You didn't have to do a sequel.
No.
You know, but they did.
And the fact that he gets up and walks away from this because he's fallen like 12,000 feet from a helicopter.
Yeah.
You're like, wow. Okay, so the next movie...
It's going to be even more crazy.
It's going to be so insane.
And that makes you want to go back.
Right.
You know.
You go like, Crank 2, but how?
So that's marketing
Yeah.
as well as like wrapping up your story nicely because you're setting yourself up for the future. And a lot of movies do that and still get a sequel. Don't do that and still get a sequel. So from my perspective, I think the sequel is warranted, and I think that like this definitely was like a movie you saw back in the day. You're like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
This movie is awesome.
I think these directors, Ryan Taylor and Mark Neveldine, are like our trash genre auteurs. Like Ghost Rider 2, I think is like annoying and not fun. But
they did some awesome camera stuff with that
They
movie.
do. But like Mom and Dad, between Mom and Dad and Crank, like they're both these, pun intended, I guess, over cranked, like super stupid, super over the top, but they seal the deal. Just because it's not high art doesn't mean it's not good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is a very, it's just a sloppy hamburger of a movie. It's like kind of stupid and you might get a little heartburn later, but you're actually going to be satisfied while you're eating it.
Shall we move on to our final question? Is this a perfect movie? My movie, Crank. Jason Statham.
You lost a baby brother. Perfect in every way.
I had a baby brother. I had a little baby brother. And it was perfect. Perfect in every way.
I want to grade myself on the Perfect Movie Podcast. I would grade myself. Nar.
I agree. It's not a perfect movie, but I think I gave it my all.
It was quite good.
And you know what? I had a career after this. A long career. I just made my movie The Beekeeper last year. Did okay, I think.
I got my new film, A Working Man, from the director of The Beekeeper.
Do I also fight people in that movie too?
I take revenge. I take revenge. But I also work in a construction site.
I love that I have a different occupation for every movie I'm in.
I'm the same character, but I wear a different hat.
It's true. I'm a man of many talents, many skills. My number one skill is killing.
Not like Liam Neeson.
Well, he had a specific set of skills.
Right.
He will find you.
Right.
He will kill you.
Right. But what do I do?
I think I drive fast.
Right.
Sometimes I fight the Rock.
Right?
Hobbs and Shaw. You saw that, right? No.
No, mate.
But it was a Fast and the Furious spin-off.
A spin-off, you say?
A spin-off!
Like I do in my cars.
Let's just say I'm a better driver than Paul Walker.
That bloke's dead.
He is, much like anybody that crosses my path in my films.
Like my film Crank, or my film Safe, where I save a small Chinese child from a Chinese gang.
Or my movie Transporter, where I transport a Chinese woman. I help a lot of Chinese people.
Jason Statham's huge in China.
What's with Chinese people in my films? I don't get it.
Reminds me of what my friend Dirty Harry used to say.
Okay, so the perfect movie, not. It's not a perfect movie. Crank the film, starring Jason Statham, is not a perfect movie.
It's a good time, no alcohol required.
Yeah,
Jeremy Johns.
Yeah, it's a certified good time. It's not a good movie, but it is a certified good time.
Definitely watch it. If you love early 2000s, if you love action films, definitely put it on your list.
scratch that. I think it's a good movie, but it's not a movie that sets its sights high.
No. It's kind of crazy watching this, and then I put Desperado on the list.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But I don't know. Desperado just had, like, that atmosphere that you just can't beat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost wonder, like, how this movie would look now. And I said that before, but I just think that this movie was, like, it was ahead of its time a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
I think eventually there may be a Crank 3.
Oh, I'm sure. When Jason Statham is done making Beekeeper.
Crank Hard with a Vengeance.
Crank
Crank up to the streets.
Crank it up.
Cranker Act 2.
Crank that.
Crank Mile.
Crank Mile. It's just him in a rap battle. And when he loses, he murders everybody.
Oi, my name is B Rabbit.
B Rabbit. You went to a private school.
I'm a piece of white trash. I say it proudly.
Look, Snoop Dogg just got a fucking boob job.
Clarence parents had a pretty good marriage.
I am what? I am a fucking bum. I do live in the trailer with me mum. I love how we just know the lyrics to the fucking 8 Mile.
I mean, that's the one scene anyone remembers from 8 Mile.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers the other 100 minutes of that movie.
I remember when his girlfriend had sex.
With him?
She had sex a couple times. Because remember, she had sex with his friend.
Oh!
That was a part of the other crew.
There's a different crew?
He was like, and Wink did fuck my girl. And I'm still standing here saying fuck the free world.
It's me, Jason Statham.
You don't ever try to judge me, dude. You don't know what the fuck I've been through. But I know something about you. You went to Cranbrook. That's a private school.
Jason Statham as Eminem.
You better lose yourself to the music.
Oh, man. I want a, like, Elvis style, Hollywood, very Hollywood Eminem biography, but Eminem as portrayed by Jason Statham.
Yeah, that would be great. No, but you would get the Eminem portrayed by Timothée Chalamet. He played Bob Dylan. He came to Minneapolis. He came to the Electric Fetus. Okay, bye.
You just short-circuited my brain. I was like picturing Timothée Chalamet with the shaved head and the start of
you're talking
of the like freestyle 8 Mile song is playing.
Palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms spaghetti.
Yeah. So Manly March. Just kidding. We're done with the Jason Statham voice. I'm glad you guys sat through that, and I'm sure you guys enjoyed all of it, and it was all great.
I'm sure you guys didn't stop the video 30 seconds in.
I hope there's a lot of comments to say.
My culture is not your joke. All right, mate?
More culture, governor.
Oi, mate.
It's just kind of fun doing that voice. I don't know. We should do more voices.
And we will continue to make our way through Manly March, where we watch manly movies for men.
What do we got next?
Next up, our next 2 films we will cover Skyfall. Bum, 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 bum.
I'm not really seeing the manliness in Skyfall, but I'm excited.
I mean, is James Bond not just like the signature man?
He's the original cool guy. That's for sure.
He's the original cool guy. I mean, he's like a 50-year running icon of
cinema.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there are manlier movies out there. I think if we're just strictly muscular, like diesel fuel type of movies, it's a little more artistic. But I do think that James Bond is a manly figure for me.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I would say, I know we have our list already, but I want to throw in 300 by Zack Snyder.
Skyfall's out. 300's in.
Are you serious?
Fuck it.
I mean, we can still do Skyfall.
I think we should only do 4 films. So Skyfall's out. 300's in.
You love how we just did that there.
And our other film is T2.
Yeah.
Which I think is certified. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger diesel
That's
built.
one of, I mean, that's his best movie he's ever been.
Get ready for more fun accent work from the boys.
Hold on, let me work on my Arnold real quick.
Give me your clothes.
What does he say? What does he do?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to study film from that one guy that went on Red Letter Media and has the great Arnold
he's got
impression.
A great Arnold impression. I just thought 300 would be great because Zack Schneider is just like it's like the Pied Piper of incel men.
I mean, strictly, if it was like ab count.
Oh yeah, you're hitting a couple thousand.
Yeah, there's lots of abs, lots of oiled up men. Lots of violence.
And it's also a good time to just shit on kind of Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Because we both, notoriously, we just hate everything that he does. And that's not because of him as a person. It's just because he makes shit films.
Yeah. Don't be offended, Zach. We don't hate you personally. We just hate everything that you do.
Hopefully we'll get some of his cult bots into our comments. Tell them to fuck off, too.
Exactly. But what if I like 300 when I rewatch it?
I know. I do like 300. I keep saying that's his best movie, and
Speaking
it's not
of
saying much.
Movies that don't aim high but have great style.
They do have great style. I mean, when you're aping off of a graphic novel, I think it should have great style.
It's a great comparison to Crank, because Crank is the over-Crank style of digital photography, no effects.
Yes.
And then 300 is over-Crank style, no digital effects. Or, I mean, all digital effects.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. But there is some cool action in that movie, and I remember it just being like, fuck you.
But we're
Dice,
still...
Ice, Sparta.
300, T2. Those sound manly.
It's a great list.
I think you're right. 300 is more manly than Skyfall.
Yeah.
Skyfall we can get to eventually.
Skyfall is like the ladies can watch Skyfall too.
Ladies can watch Skyfall. You know why? Because James Bond has a lot of great suits.
He does have great suits, and he's also like the womanizer.
Yeah, well, that's not
his whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I just think there's a classiness.
Yeah.
That isn't a part of Manly March.
Like he could hang out with the boys and the girls.
Right. But Manly March is about the main.
Yeah.
The main.
The main.
The main.
Main.
So we should watch Hustle and Flow, man.
We should watch Hustle and Flow because that's about a movie about a guy who's a rapper and it's like 8 Mile, but it's not because he's got prostitutes.
So, anyways, you're right. Good idea, Kalen.
Thanks. You know, you should listen to me sometimes because sometimes I have good ideas.
You have good ideas. When did I ever say you don't have good ideas, Kalen?
I don't know. I'm just saying you should utilize it a little bit more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right. Don't let it happen again, okay?
Okay. I mean, we switched right away to 300.
Okay. All right. Never mind, man. You're good.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Let's.
Although I do have Skyfall on Blu-ray.
I do have Skyfall on Blu-ray as well.
Skyfall.
If I'll do you a solid. If we get through it fast, like in the next 2 weeks, we'll do Skyfall.
We don't have to do Skyfall. I'm actually not that jazzed about talking about Skyfall.
That is a long fucking movie.
Agreed. So Skyfall, we can kick it down the road. We have to come up with an April thing, and after the next couple.
We did
episodes.
Animation April twice.
Yeah.
Already. I don't know. What's good? Like you know, we always do the rhyming thing, or like the
alliteration
thing.
Well, we'll talk about it offline.
Anaconda April.
Anaconda 1.
Anaconda 2.
Anaconda 3.
There's a new Anaconda coming out, so we could do that. Just kidding.
You know what I thought?
Arachnid
about,
April.
You know what I thought about?
Spider movies.
Dirty Harry. I thought Anaconda racist. Arachnid April. I mean, that's interesting. I can think of one movie I would want to watch during
Arachnophobia, Sting. There's another arachnid movie that came out last year. Infested. That's good. And Eight-Legged Freaks. But we don't have to do that.
We're not going to do Arachnid April. Absolutely no chance.
And Spider-Man.
American April. America.
We could do like We could do like
Team America World Police.
There's a Civil War movie.
Glory.
Glory is a good one. That's got Morgan Freeman.
And Denzel.
And Denzel. Oh my God, the best of both worlds. And the guy from Godzilla in 1999. Ferris Bueller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's in that.
Or Ferris Bueller from Ferris Bueller.
We could do Dances with Wolves about the Native Americans.
We could do Prey. Again.
Oh, God. We should do it again. What's like the most... Oh, American Sniper. Or like Black Hawk Down.
I feel like you could watch a baseball movie.
Yeah. Or a football movie.
Angels in the Outfield.
What's something like really American, though?
Team America, World Police. America, fuck yeah. That's what
you could do the movie where they hunt Bin Laden.
Oh, Zero Dark 30.
Zero Dark 30. It's a good movie. It's long, but it's really good. It's kind of like Sicario a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we've held you long enough.
So we're gonna do manly movies. We're gonna do probably T2 next. Wrap it up with 300.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So I know what you're thinking. Did he fire only 6 shots or 5? Well, to tell you the truth in all this excitement, kind of lost track of myself. I'm not doing this bit
Keep
again.
going. I was going to actually end on like, hey man, who are you? Why are you talking to me? Leave me alone. I'm just trying to walk down the street.
I just want to be friends.
Oi, governor.
Friends.
You got the wrong guy. The black one is over there.
You know, I was watching Mad Max, and I was like, maybe I don't like movies. Maybe I just like Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah. That movie is fucking awesome.
That is like the only movie that I've ever watched where I'd be like, I could go to like one of those like fanatical watch-alongs where people like say the lines along.
Yeah. You dress up like the characters.
I don't know if I dress up like the characters.
You look like Nux. So
but I would show up and I would be like, I'm going to die immortal on the Fury Road.
What a day. What a lovely day. That is the quintessential action movie of all time.
I mean, it's already on the
Actually, you
list.
know what? We're probably going to do a lot of comparisons between that and T2. Because T2 is considered the greatest action movie ever made. Also, there's like great chase scenes in that film as well.
T2's sick.
T2 is awesome.
So, next up, instead of Jason Statham, I'm going to be talking to Arnold
Schwarzenegger. Wait, wow. Hold on. Okay, don't do it yet because we're going to take some time to research and we'll come back with the greatest Arnold Schwarzenegger impression of all time.
So, we look forward to that next week.
And then we have to do the is it Gerard Butler? No, not Gerard Butler.
It is Gerard Butler.
In 300?
Yeah.
No, it's the other guy.
No, you're thinking of Russell Crowe, but it's not Russell
It is
Crowe.
Gerard Butler.
It is Gerard Butler.
He's like, Dice, Sparta, Dice is a day we hold them. Dice. He said Dice a lot.
Dice.
Yeah. Well, we got good impressions.
Yeah, we got good impressions. Don't worry, guys. Hold on. We'll bring them out next week. Okay, bye.
Bye.
You's thinking you's bigger than the Gungans? Miss liking this.
That is a fantastic Watto impression.
Isn't that good?
That's really good.
Hey, look, Anakin, I sold your mother to slavery or whatever. Wait, is that you? Ah, you're a Jedi. That's great.